Hello and welcome to session 3 on rounding numbers. Let's start as always with our maths meeting. We've got 8 squared plus 10. Use your place value grid to divide by 1000. Then we've got a column subtraction. Be careful because it's 2 digits minus a 1-digit number. Column multiplication and then a short division. Pause the screen and off you go. And let's check our answers in 3, 2, 1, 0. For the first one, 8 times 8 is 64, plus 10, 74. Next one, I generally use the thousands column to help me to divide by 1,000, because I know if I've got 2,000 divided by 1,000, the answer will be 2 whole ones, and I've got the 2 in the whole just there. And then we've got a column subtraction. Put a 0 in there to show that you didn't have to take any hundredths away. And we've got a multiplication and your division. If you find any of them tricky, please let me know and I can go through them with you. On to yesterday's answers. Once you've ticked them off, let's move on to recapping session 1 in 3, 2, 1. Okay, in session 1 we were rounding to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000, so we've got a number here, 4,300,271, and we're going to round it to the nearest 10, 100, 1,000. So first of all, write your answer. What is this number rounded to the nearest 10? Let's look together. 10 in this number is 7. There are 7 tens. There was only one 1, which means I'd need to round it down to 70, making my answer 4,300,270. Okay, can you round this number to the nearest 100, and then we'll go through it together in a few moments. We'll round to the nearest 100. There are 2 hundreds here and 7 tens. There's more than 5 tens, so we need to round up. The 100 above 200 is 300, so our answer is 4,300,300. Then we're going to round to the nearest, same number to the nearest 1,000. Have a go and then we'll work it out together. Okay, we've got no thousands in this number, and we've got 271. It's less than 5, so we need to round down. So we'd round down to no thousands. This means our answer would be 4,300,000, because the 271 would round down to no thousands. A little bit tricky, that one. Well done if you got it correct. And then in session 2, we were figuring out what would rounded by. And so we've got 634,029 rounded to the nearest what is 634,000. And then we've got 49 rounded to the nearest what is 0. So has it been rounded to the nearest 10, 100 or 1,000? Write your answer down. And finally, we've got 3,628 rounded to the nearest what is 3,600. So we round it to nearest 10, 100, 1,000. Write your answer down. And let's reveal the answers. For the first one, it's rounded to the nearest thousand. I can tell because I've got 3 zeros there, meaning that it's not rounded to the nearest 100, 10 or 1000. It's got to be rounded to the nearest, sorry, not rounded to the nearest hundreds, tens or ones, it's rounded to the nearest 1000. And then this one, we didn't round to the nearest 10 because 49 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 50. Instead we rounded it to the nearest 100. 49 is between 0 and 100 and it would round down to 0. And then the third one, if we look at 3,600, it is a multiple of 100. There are no 10s, no 1s, so it's rounded to the nearest 100. You can also double check by looking at 3,628 and checking that it would be rounded down to the nearest 100 to 3,600. And it would, because it's got 2 10s there, so you'd round it down to 3,600. Okay, let's go on to today's lesson. Today we're going to move on to rounding decimals. I've got another video to show you.
Let's see what Jerry and Albert are buying for their holiday. Looking good! We should work out how much money they'll need. Let's make a rough estimate by rounding the costs to the nearest pound. Albert's swimming trunks are £4.99. Because the amount ends in more than 50p, we round up to £5. His snorkel is £2.20, which means the amount ends in less than 50p, so we round down to £2. Albert's goggles are £3.50. Because £3.50 is exactly halfway between £3 and £4, we round up. In total, Jerry and Albert will need about £11 for their holiday shop. Don't forget though, if you're rounding down money to the nearest pound, you may need a little bit extra when you get to the tills. If you want a more accurate estimation, you can round to the nearest 50p. You can round £1.45 to £1.50. Just make sure you always keep your receipt.
Okay, so we round decimals often to make money calculations a little bit easier, or so that when we go into a shop we know exactly what we're buying and whether or not we have enough money. But the same rules apply that we've been looking at before. If in the tenths column your amount is 5 or more, you round up. If it's below 5, you can round down. So exactly the same, we're still using that 5 in the middle there. So today we're going to be rounding decimals to the nearest whole number. And here's our first example. So mark 4.6 on a number line, then round it to the nearest whole number. So a whole number doesn't have any decimal places. So what I've done is drawn a number line between 4 and 5. And right in the middle would be 4.5. So anything 4.5 and larger we would round to 5. And anything smaller than 4.5 we would round to 4. So mark 4.6 on the number line. It's been done for us there, it's 4.6. And you can see that it's closer to 5 than it is to 4. So 4.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 5. It's another example for us to have a go at. Mark 3.1 on the number line, then round it to the nearest whole number. Well, 3.1 is between 3 and 4. Halfway between would be 3.5. 3.1 would be about here. So I can imagine 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, 4. So it'd be about here. This would be where 3.1 would be. And I can see that 3, I think that point is a little bit bigger. 3.1 is definitely closer to 3. So round to the nearest whole number would be 3. Anything 3.5 and above would be rounded to 4. Anything below 3.5 we would round down to 3 because that's what it's closer to. Okay, so a couple more examples, and I've hidden the numbers so we can work those out together. So mark 8.2 on the number line, then round it to the nearest whole number. The first thing we need to figure out is which whole numbers is 8.2 between. Clues here, between 8 and the number above 8 would be 9. And right in the middle would be 8.5. And if we mark 8.2, we can imagine 8, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5 would be approximately here, where 8.2 would be. 8.2. And I can see that it's smaller than 8.5, so we're going to round it down to 8. And we could actually just look at the tenths. There are only 2 tenths in it, so we know it's going to be closer to 8. Okay, our next question. Mark 7.9 on the number line, then round it to the nearest whole number. Again, we need to figure out which whole numbers it's between. It's going to be between 7, and the number after 7 is 8. Right in the middle would be 7.5, halfway along. So anything 7.5 and larger would round to 8. 7.9, if we had 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, 7.8, 7.9, and would go to 8. So 7.9 would be about here. And we can see that it's closer to 8 than it is to 7. Again, we probably didn't need to draw out the number line because we can see that the 9, which is in the tenths column, is 5 or larger, so we need to round it up. Okay, here's some for you to have a go at. Rounding decimals to the nearest whole number. Once you've completed those, take a picture and put them onto Class Dojo. We've also got some decimal numbers here, which are to 2 decimal places. You can still draw these on a number line, remembering that the hundredths are smaller than the tenths. So we're still, with these numbers, only looking at what's in the tenths position. So this is more than 5. So the first one, we would round it up to 4. I do apologise, I didn't realise my pen was on there. And this second one, it's got 5 tenths, so we would round it up again. This one only has 1 tenth, so we'd round it down. To complete these, take a picture and put them onto Class Dojo. The answers will be in tomorrow's session.